This is a recording of our ElasticSearch Town Hall meeting.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Nick.
Hi, Kelly.
How
and
are
everyone who I can't hear.
Well, you know, we have a little Q&A, and I think people can raise their hands. So maybe people can raise their hands for you. So as I was telling everybody, we got one raised hand. So Nick, you're, two. This is exciting. Oh, everyone loves Nick. Come on now. We're right there. I want to say thank you to everyone for coming today and taking the time out of your busy schedule to listen to Nick, one of our Bywater developers, about ElasticSearch. We are very excited, and we would love, after he shows you ElasticSearch and goes through some features, we would love your questions. So again, there is a Q&A box at the bottom. Please feel free to submit any questions, and we'd be happy to get to those. We have about 42 people, so we are recording this. So if somebody doesn't make it, we will have this on our website for you to share with your colleagues. So take it away, Nick.
Okay. So just a bit of background for those that don't know. What is Elastic? Elastic is an Apache Lucene-based search engine that is open source and free to use. It's popular right now. It's getting a lot of attention. A lot of people are using it. It is widely dispersed, especially for searching of logs and internal documentation, but also as a search engine kind of on its own. You can go to the elastic.co website and you can look around at that. There is documentation here, which is really nice. It's pretty straightforward, easy to understand, easy to read. It is built with a RESTful API. So all the documents get indexed into Elastic, and then we use web calls to search and retrieve those documents from Elastic. What we like about it is, one, it is very fast. Two, it is very scalable. And three, it is very clusterable. So it can handle large databases, large indexes. And one server can run multiple instances, which makes it a little more robust, a little easier to maintain. So it's pretty exciting. If you want to go to elastic.co, go ahead, check it out. There's lots of information there about ElasticSearch. There is a manual you can read. You can watch some of their videos. And if you go to this website enough times, every single ad that you ever see on your phone or Facebook will be about Elastic. Which is good. It means that, you know, they've got some money. They're out there. They're getting their name out. You know, from a support side too, from our side, what we're looking forward to about Elastic, other than it being well documented, understandable, and open, which are all some of our favorite things, it's really customizable. Even currently in the master version of Koha, there's a configuration page which lets the staff do some of the configuration of ElasticSearch, which is exciting. So let me go ahead and I'm just going to show you right now. This is what happens if we search the Zebra catalog. We're searching Zebra. We get our results as you expect. And I'm going to go over here into administration. To turn on Elastic, there is a lot of back-end stuff to be done. There's some setup, there's an installation of the server, all of that. Once that's done, all you need to do in Koha is flip this little switch right here for the search engine. And now we can do the same search that we did before in Elastic.
Wow.
Now, that doesn't seem that exciting. And that's kind of a good thing. What we're aiming for with Elastic right now is to have it be a drop-in replacement and to retain the features that you guys expect from Zebra, while letting us improve on some of those features. So you will probably notice the first result that I did in Zebra got us 9 results. The second result that I did in Elastic gave us 3 results. This is expected. It is a new search engine. It's going to do things differently. The nice thing about Elastic, though, is with Zebra, I can look at those 9 records and I can try to give you an answer of why they came up in the results. With Elastic, I can give you a better answer as to why those ones came up in the results. Maybe not today, right now, but in general, we can get a little more input on what the search was performed and how it returned its results.
So don't put you on the spot right now, Nick. Is that what you're trying to say?
There'll be plenty of time for that later. But that's kind of the grand overview of what it's going to do. Now, some nice things about Elastic too. You know, we want the search results to be as close as possible, but it lets us do a little bit more. It lets us expand our results and kind of add some new things. So one thing I was going to do is just to show you this. This feature is not in yet, but it's one of the things that we have built using Elastic, which is nice, which is a little browse search. So we can come in here, and if we put exact and we do B, we get a nice listing of all of the authors starting with B in our catalog. And we can do it, you know, BAN. If we go to fuzzy, it lets us get a little more loose there, and it kind of does one letter away. So instead of BAN, we get BAB as well, because we can change that one letter. Really fuzzy gets a little crazy. And you're going to get lots of results there. And we can go right through and get to a single record in the catalog. This is just a thing that's a lot easier to do with the Elastic engine. It has the ability to do suggestions, which is what we're doing here. We're taking your start and pulling out other things that start in the same way.
Question for you, Nick.
Yeah.
Does it know about Mark?
It knows about Mark in the sense of what we have taught it about Mark. So we use another tool called Katmandu. And this is the tool we use to process Mark. It lets us put in some kind of simple links to say this field indexes to this field. And it can do this little Mark map and pull things right into Elastic. Katmandu works directly with ElasticSearch, so it lets us do that kind of conversion back and forth. The ElasticSearch also, much like Zebra, we can still store the full record in the Elastic index. Currently, the way we store that record, I don't believe that we can search for a single field. However, that is a big possibility of a thing that we can do in the future to allow searching through Elastic on a single Mark field. And that's kind of one of the things that we are interested in showing this to you and talking to you guys about, to see what kind of questions like that and what kind of features are you looking for in Elastic. As I've worked on this as a developer, you know, I do tests. I try to make sure that the search functions as I expect it to. And I am a librarian. I did work in a library. But the way that I use Koha most days now isn't going to be the same as the way that you guys use Koha. So there are going to be areas where I don't know what is expected or what kind of results you want. Go ahead.
Nick, going back to that browse search that you were showing, when you did the fuzzy and very fuzzy results, does that focus on bibs, or does it include authorities in those results?
This is bib-based. It is not authority-based. The same thing could be done with authorities, but we currently haven't done that.
Great. What are other drop-down searches you can do other than author? Okay, perfect.
Subject and title are implemented right now. Okay. And again, these are Mark-based. These are not based on the authorities. These are the subject headings pulled from the Mark. And you'll see some things like the period is separating these two.
Perfect.
I was just trying to find one that might have more results here. There you go. Just so you can see.
Well, we did get a comment from Jen from Switch that she's glad to see it, that it is it's bibs that it's looking through.
Yeah.
Another question for you.
Go for it.
Will this eventually, down the road, allow a, quote, did you mean in the way that Google does?
There are some options like that with Elastic, but I don't know those capabilities exactly, just because I haven't played in that area a lot. The suggestions feature, I believe, is mostly based on data that you feed it. So if we can start to feed Elastic data and have kind of the base that tells us when somebody searches for this, they might mean something else. That's something that can certainly be developed.
Okay, great. I love this. We have lots of questions. Remember when you did that search stuff?
Yeah.
Do you think that, why do you think the first result does not appear to have that word stuff in it? You know, this is just off the top of your head, not definitely a technical, oh, there you go, stuffed animals.
And it has it twice at least.
We are asking if we can see the comparison between search done between Zebra versus Elastic. So when you made that search through when you were in Elastic, and then you made the same search when you were in Zebra, would be great. Ooh, side-by-side comparison. I think you're awesome. You're awesome.
But what I just have to not do is refresh those search results over there. Huh, did I not save it? I did save it. Oh. I think I...
You were both in.
Yeah, they were both in Elastic.
Blaze and the Gray Spotted Pony. Mama Rose. Interesting.
There are going to be differences, and we expect that. One of the things, if I switch back to ElasticSearch over here, a search for not, so let's say not a baby, takes us right to that record, which I know has been problematic for some searches in Zebra, where those get interpreted as keywords. When you say not, it's looking for not a, instead of looking for the word not and the word a. It does, however, take effect if we do it in here and we say not a. Then that not a baby doesn't come up. But in a general search, not a baby returns the word not.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, next question. Can we use tools in Elastic to impact relevancy ranking?
Yes, that is possible. It has not yet been done. Again, it's one of the things that is on the list, and I thought I had pasted that link in here. I did. Let's go there. So we have a small list of things on the wiki that are things that need to get fixed to make it work as we expect, and then some of the things that we want to be able to do. Relevancy is different from Zebra. We expect that right now. And there is a bug that says that we should be able to configure it. Since I filed that bug, I've changed the way that I would like to configure it, but it is a possibility in the future. You can weight certain fields to be heavier, to be lighter, to get it to where you want it to be.
Great. Next question. A question from a cataloger. Is left justified search supported?
So begins with?
I'm not sure. I don't know what left justified search.
left anchored. I think it means essentially it begins with, but I'll wait for confirmation on that.
Confirmation.
Which if it is, the answer is yes. It's not necessarily implemented right here in the search the catalog, and it may not be implemented right now in the advanced search, but it is something that can be implemented. In the authorities search, let's see if I can get there. I believe right now we have a starts with search, and there is a bug implementing that in Elastic as a true starts with, so whatever you type, it will go from to the right of that. I don't remember if it goes by term or by thing, but it is possible.
Okay. Yep. You got confirmed. Begins with from left to right. So yep. Thank you. Thank you, everyone who answered me.
And a lot of that too, one of the other things I'll mention, there is stuff to be done in the code base to make things work as expected. There's also things to be done in the, I thought I pulled it up, and I guess I didn't. In the mappings.
Okay.
So this is a new function that's added with Elasticsearch, is the ability to come in here and kind of define your own indexes. Now, the first part is defining just the indexes and what they're actually called. The real meat of this is going to happen in here, where you can map which specific mark fields are going to go into a defined index, so that when you search for identifier standard, you know which fields you're searching. Same thing for author. That you've got the 245C, the 100, or the 700A. These are just the default. These are changeable. Now, changing them, you may need to re-index your database depending on what you've done, because Elastic won't necessarily just go through and automatically re-index the whole database. That can be a big process, especially for big databases. Yeah,
definitely. We got a woohoo, and there was much rejoicing. So we're getting lots of excitement with our attendees, so that's awesome.
Yeah, this is one of the things that I think people are the most excited about.
Yeah, definitely. Now, another question about search. Will the search ignore punctuation marks like apostrophes and hyphens?
It doesn't look like we're doing that right now. That again can be configured. So the way Elastic works, there are 2 points at which we can analyze things and adjust those kind of punctuation requirements. One is at indexing. When we store the record, there are analyzers that run over that record and store it in various different ways. It gets so something like dealing with dropouts microform. Just take this sentence, this part of it here. That's going to get broken out into those 4 single terms, dealing with dropouts and microform. We can also have it indexed as dealing with dropouts microform as a single phrase. There are other things that we do, like if I can find an example. And there we go. So Harry's Potter, which I assume is Harry Potter in, I don't know, Greek? But so if we search for P-O-T-E-R, that E is going to be indexed both as the E that's there and as a standard E. And so the same thing can be done with punctuation to tell it to be indexed or not. But currently, I don't think that we remove punctuation from our searching. So that was the other part, is that we can have an analyzer run on the search itself. So that when you type in I''M, it will strip out that apostrophe and search for IM as well as searching for I''M.
Oh, great. Okay, I'm trying to go in order. We've got lots of questions. Does Elasticsearch and its setup deal at all with the format either from the item type or from a mark 006, 007, 008 field? Just wondering.
It can do that based on what we tell it to do. I'm not sure if I 100% understand the question, but kind of searching for different formats, like being able to specify, books over projected materials, things like that. And again, it's something that where we have to do the mapping and we have to tell it. You can see right here, record source, we're indexing part of that 008 field. For length, we're indexing part of the leader field. So we can grab sections of those 008, 007, 006, and index them into indexes that are then searchable.
Yeah, I can see material type 007 in there too, so.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you use these tools to impact relevancy ranking?
Which tools?
I'm not sure.
The configuration right here?
Yeah.
Relevancy ranking is not implemented yet. Adjusting that is not implemented. It's a possibility. Elastic allows for weighting fields and doing stuff like that, but we don't have an implementation for it yet.
Okay, great, thank you. Can you use quotations to make an exact search in Elastic?
Yes, again, I'm not really certain how implemented that is. Let's try a few and we can just see. So yes.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Nick.
No problem.
Okay.
And I should also mention, so one of the things that we do recommend with ElasticSearch, where it is different than Zebra, is we have auto truncation turned on, which is adding wildcards to the search so that we're searching for the entire string. If I turn this off, you'll see that if I come in here and search for SOP, I get nothing. If I search for SOP star, then I get Sophocles, things like that. I get Sophia, Sophie, all of that. Zebra is a little bit looser with those. It doesn't do that kind of exact searching. So usually with Zebra, we don't have auto truncation turned on. So if we come here and search for Sophie, we're going to get those Sophie and Sophia and all of that. This is more just to show you the difference between the two and that they are at the base level very different. A lot of the work that has been done with Elastic so far has been to kind of try to make it compatible with Zebra, or rather, similar to Zebra, so that you're going to get the results that you expect when you do searches that you're used to doing. But a lot of the questions that people are asking, like, can we do this? Can we do that? It can be done, but so far we haven't done that. We're focusing right now, especially as we look towards 1805, at stabilizing what's here, improving any bugs that we would hit or places where the search wouldn't work, and getting it to a point where it can be used in production without losing any features. And opening the door, once we've done that, we open the door to adding all of these new features that everyone is looking for.
We had a comment, stable is good. Okay, another question. Nick, you're doing amazing. There is an issue when searching for titles that include words of 1 or 2 characters. These search results sometimes took a long time, like, for instance, the number 2, truths, and a lie. Will Elasticsearch improve this?
I believe so. We're using the same display engine as we were with Zebra. So once we get a record, we're doing the same kind of things. And there's always some processing time there in the display end. But on the back end, I'm not a Zebra expert. But as I kind of understand it and what I've seen when we debug searches like that is Zebra actually kind of does a bunch of searches to combine its results and get that search for a 2. Elastic does a single search, or at least as I understand it, it's doing less searches, and it does work faster. I wouldn't take the results of me searching right here as gospel. This is on a tiny development server on my computer with a fairly small result set. I've got around 30,000 records. Oh, I've only got 4,000 in here right now.
Yeah, so a small amount to search.
Okay. So take that as you will. But yes, it should perform better. I would expect it to. But I can't say how much.
Okay. Thanks, Nick. Another question. If you did an exact search for a title, for example, and it does not find a match, can it generate a list showing nearby titles and where your search would be located in that list?
So the browse I showed you before is a near browse. We still don't, with Elastic, have a real kind of flat index where you can scan through and hit a point and then show the records that are before and after. With the browsing, we can do that kind of fuzziness. We will be willing to change so many characters and try to get results near there, and we'll try to give suggestions. But in terms of a flat browse, no, not currently. Not currently possible with Elastic.
Okay, thank you. Can ElasticSearch ingest non-MARC records like ebooks coming directly from an ebook vendor?
Yes, that is one of the things that we are working on. There's an open development out there for bringing in overdrive records as a start. Now, those fields in the overdrive record are still going to need to be mapped to fields that you have defined in Elastic. That's so that your searching is going to work consistently. There's a lot of fields that we're assuming your catalog's always going to have. Things that are here in the sort, popularity, author, call number, title. We're pretty sure that you're always going to have those fields in your record, and so those are the fields that we're going to target for bringing in these outside records. But it is possible. Elastic at its base holds all of its records as JSON.
Mm-hmm.
So we can put any kind of data in there that we can get and make it searchable.
Okay, great. Thank you. Will there be any changes in regards to articles like the and?
Currently, we have not implemented that. Using Katmandu, there's the possibility of stripping out those as we index the records and doing things like that. But currently for sorting, that is not implemented.
Okay, great. Thank you. Will ElasticSearch allow for more facets in the OPAC, such as collection?
Yes, I believe collection code is actually indexed now for Zebra as well in master. There's an open bug for adding language as a facet code. And again, these things are easier to do in Elastic.
Okay, great. We like easier.
Yes. That doesn't mean that it won't be a development. Let me make that clear. A lot of things that in the past we would have said would be a really big development are going to be an easier development. And a lot of things that weren't possible are going to be possible, but we're still in the phase of seeing what we want to do and what we're going to do.
Okay. Yeah, we like to hear from librarians to find out what they want to see. So this is a great time to do that. Again, another question about facets on the search results display. Is this going to be impacted? Will we have a change in the facets on the side?
Currently, no. While you can define what fields are facetable in Elastic, the implementation in Koha, these are standard fields that we show you as your facets. So it will require development.
Okay, great, thank you. Another question, with many of these features not yet implemented, what's the best option for most libraries today? And what's the time frame on implementing the missing features, Nick?
We are trying to get as much done as we can for 1805. I'd like to see Elastic as a viable search option by then. For other features, it kind of all depends on what people are asking for and how hard they push. A lot of the thing that's taken time to do is get traction for this in community. We now have several other developers working on Elastic from outside of Bywater, and there are people in the community who are testing and signing off things. The more of those we have, the faster development will go. Which is probably a good time to mention that we do have Elastic enabled in all of our sandboxes, which means that you can go to the Bywater sandboxes, which I will take you there right now to the and it's just sandbox.bywatersolutions.com. I don't know.
I'll put that in the chat.
You got to have the whole link there. You got it, Kelly?
Yep. Thank you.
Okay. And if you configure one of these sandboxes, you can then come in and test, and Elastic will be available to you. You'll still have to do the thing that I did in here, which is come and find your search engine system preference and switch it over to Zebra, or I mean to Elasticsearch from Zebra. And then you'll be able to play with the records that are there, import new records, and test those out. You can sign off from the sandboxes. We have videos and instructions on the sandboxes on our website, and they are available in the Koha wiki as well. So at wiki.org, wiki sandboxes, and our sandboxes are linked from here as well.
Bring up that URL again for me, Nick. I missed the part of it.
Oh, this one or?
No, the Bywater one.
Oh, okay, right there.
Oops, thank you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, another question. I think our site has Zebra indexing set up to re-index every 6 or 9 minutes. Will this still be needed for ElasticSearch?
I believe most sites now are using the indexing daemon for Zebra. And Elasticsearch will work in the same way that when a record is updated, the index will get updated immediately, which is how it works for most Zebra instances now. When you index when you alter a record, the index it's re-indexed basically right away.
Great. Would the OPAC also use Elasticsearch, and would it look different to patrons?
Yes, it will also use Elasticsearch, and no, it will not look different to patrons. It should be the same thing that they are expected to do.
Great.
And I think that I think I still have auto truncate turned off.
Gotta love that, auto truncate. Great. Awesome. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Can Elasticsearch retrieve streaming video records, such from Film on Demand, Canopy? Do you know?
I believe this is going to be the same as working with the ebook records, where if we want to integrate them into the catalog, we'll need to have some sort of mapping to pull them, but that can be done on the backside and then harvest it. There is work in both of those areas. There is work on allowing Koha to be an OAI PMH harvester so that it will go out and pull in records from these other areas. But a record for a streaming book should be the same as for the ebook, so I think it will work in the same way.
Okay, great. Will the mapping area or any part of Elasticsearch lead to any type of change happening in how a user can sort results by date? So I believe this question would be again on the OPAC. Will the mapping area or any part of Elasticsearch lead to any type of change happening?
I don't think I understand the question.
Will the lead to any type of change happening in how users can sort results by date? So maybe we're talking about that. Yeah, the search configuration. That maybe you could do it by date. Oh, that's a good one. If you can do, I think that's what you're asking. But if
okay,
if we're not answering you, please respond. Okay, Jen. Another question. Some mark tags, such as 880, alternate graphical representation, link back to other mark tags, such as 245 author. Does Elastic handle this? And then they put in quote, I don't think that Zebra handles this particular case, but I think there may be cases where Koha does. So, when they have that, sometimes when it's in another language.
I don't know. But so the way that I think that it would work is I believe that you would have both of those fields, the 880 and the 245 that it refers to, indexed into the same index so that either would be searchable. But this is a good question to write down because I am not certain of how that would work. And especially if we can get an example, that would be helpful.
Okay, I will. And any questions Nick can't answer, I'll certainly email you. And we'll put a lot of these questions and answers in the Town Hall blog post with the recording. So I think there's a lot of great questions that are happening now, and we'll have these questions and answers for everybody to see. Okay. Is Elastic also implemented on the Bywater demo site?
Not currently. We are not running it on the demo site.
Okay, great. Can ElasticSearch be compatible for parallel loan software?
It is not related to any developments along those lines right now that I am aware of. But not sure what they're asking either. If that means, from being searchable from outside, as in being exposed as an API, it is not currently. That is something that has been talked about, but no work has been done. If you mean having it go out and search and ingest results from other sites, that's more along the lines of the OAI that I've talked about. And if they had an API that was compatible with Elastic on their end, then I believe it would be possible to try to think about integrating those results. But again, it hasn't been done yet.
Okay, thank you. We have had problems with searches with apostrophes. We've talked about the apostrophes already. Will Elastic help with this? Got it. We've done that. Okay, next question. When you get search results now and sort by date, this is a follow-up question.
Okay.
When you get search results now and sort by date, it's sometimes off. We have records where the date, I'm assuming she means like publication date, is in the 260 and the 264. Our libraries would like to have an improved sort in the staff client and in the OPAC on date. I think Nick said something like the display from searches doesn't change this, but I must maybe misheard.
So the sort will be affected by which fields are marked as sortable. And this is one of the things, can get really technical about talking about Elasticsearch. But basically right now, when you sort, you should only have one field defined for sorting, meaning that if you're indexing both the 264 and the 260 into the copyright date or the published date, you're only going to want to make one of those the sort date, because if Elastic has two values, it doesn't know which one you want to sort on, unless you tell it that you're always going to want to sort on the least of those or something like that. So yes, that can be changed with Elasticsearch. You just have to think about which fields you're going to want to base that sorting on and things like that. I do believe with Katmandu that you can kind of define an either or. to be indexed so that you could say, look for the 264 first. If you don't find it, look to the 260. Again, that hasn't been implemented, but I believe it is possible as a development.
Great, thank you. And we had a follow-up. Kyle is also here in our town hall meeting.
Hi, Kyle.
Wanted to say that ElasticSearch doesn't directly affect ILL software, interlibrary loan software. The ILL uses Z39.50. Koha will continue to use Zebra for Z39.50 for the foreseeable future. Goodness, that was great. That's all the questions so far. You're doing great, Nick.
Thank you. So at this point, I'm not, I don't have a lot left to show. Basically, what we want is we want more questions, we want more people to test it, and we want more people to play with it. So get out there on our sandboxes, try it out. Some of them are having issues right now. We're working on fixing that. But if you want to be testing it and you're having a problem, let us know. For the more technical folks out there, if you set up a Koha dev box, getting Elasticsearch running on that is very easy. And again, we're happy to help if you have questions about doing that.
Yep, so I pasted that sandbox link into the chat box. You can copy that down so you can go ahead and look at that. I will also copy the Koha wiki link for sandboxes, as well as that Koha link, wiki link for Elasticsearch that Nick has been sharing. Is there anybody that has any other questions or wish lists for Elasticsearch or thoughts? We've got Nick in the house, so this is a great time to give it your all. Okay, let's do this. Oh, we got another one. Are there libraries contributing to this as a development, or is it just a general improvement from the Koha community? Good question.
There was investment in this, and I don't know exactly where all of that money came from. We can get you that information. Currently, I don't know what developments are sponsored. The General Elastic, I believe, was sponsored, and it is in. The improvements right now, we are working on that at Bywater. We've kind of committed to getting this running.
Okay. And does Bywater want libraries to put forth money on certain aspects of Elasticsearch, or is it the idea to contribute it to it in general?
Contact us after the town hall, and we can talk about that.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a estimated time that Elasticsearch will be implemented to our partners?
Not currently. We're hoping to have things in 1805 that Elastic is stable or considered stable to be turned on.
Fingers crossed, right?
Yeah. So we're working towards that, and the more help that we have to improve it, the better.
Right. Yeah.
And I should say, in general, yes, we do want money to help develop it. That would be great. The more that we have going towards it, the faster it will get done.
Yes, exactly, exactly. Okay, let's see. So I did put the wiki link for Elasticsearch in the chat, as well as the sandbox link for the chat. We are looking for a release of May 2018 for 1805. So fingers crossed in that. Are there any other questions? Can you put that sandbox link into the chat, Nick? Sandbox wiki, no sandbox wiki, thanks.
Oh, sandbox wiki.
Yeah. Perfect, thank you.
How do I, where's the chat?
If not, I'll type it out.
There we go. I had to find the chat and not the QA.
I know. So let's do that and send that out. We had a question about the time frame 1805. So the 18 is the year, so it would be 2018, and 05 is generally around the month, so that would be May, and that's what 1805 would stand for. So that's our end goal with most of our upgrades. It's an 05 and 11, which would be May and November for that year's upgrades. You're welcome. Nick, you're getting lots of thank yous.
Excellent.
Yeah. Those questions were coming in hot and heavy. Let me tell you, you did amazing.
Thank you. And I am pretty much always around in IRC, always during normal business hours. So if you have other questions that you didn't get to ask here, go ahead and feel free to ping us. You can find us in the Bywater Partners channel or in the Koha General channel. There are other people in the community who can try to answer and will help and who are working on this. So just let us know.
Yep, and there was actually just a blog post written about how to connect to us on IRC. So you can go ahead and look for that blog post on our website, and that tells you how to contact us. Just so you know, although 1805 has a May date, we do wait a few months for the release to our partners to make sure it's a nice, good upgrade for you guys, and we take about 6 months to do that. So giving you a good time frame. That would probably be more closer to November. But the Koha community will bring it out in May of 2018. Are there any more questions? Remember, we are recording this, so if you have anybody else that you want to have watch this, it will be on our website, hopefully by end of day today, if all goes well. Do you know what your cursor looks like, Nick, to us?
Nothing.
It looks like a CS, it says CSV, little blue box.
That's because I'm using Linux and everyone else is using the wrong operating system.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Nick. I appreciate your time today. Thank you to all our partners that came and listened to this. I think it's awesome, and I hope we answered all your questions.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Have a great day.